Before you go ahead to apply whether for EB1A or EB2-NIW, there's a need for you to understand the similarities that exist between EB1A and EB2-NIW. I answered that in my previous video where I spoke about the 7 differences, 7 things that are common between EB1A and EB2-NIW. In this particular video, this is the second video to that's going to help you to make a decision whether do I qualify for EB1A, should I go for EB2-NIW? This video gives you an answer to that. So in the next few minutes, I'll be talking about the 5 differences that exist between the EB1A and EB2-NIW. Now at the end, I will also be sharing with you some insight on some things that will also help you in the course of your application. So let's get on into the game. Now, the first thing that's the difference between EB1A and EB2-NIW is that EB1A is for individuals that has extraordinary ability in the field, right? For EB2-NIW is for professionals that hold advanced degrees, right? Or for those that have exceptional ability. If you want to understand what this exceptional ability means, I actually did a video earlier where I spoke about how do you check yourself whether you qualify for exceptional ability or not. You can go back and watch that particular video. Now, and also that you can prove that what you're coming to do in the United States has the interest of the US. Now, in summary, for the first difference between EB1A and EB2-NIW, it is that EB1A is called the extraordinary ability, and EB2-NIW is called the one with advanced degree or exceptional ability and also a proof of national interest. Please keep that in mind because in subsequent differences, I'll be building on top of this one. Now, the second one is that how do you understand the difference without understanding the eligibility criteria that exists between EB1A and EB2-NIW? Now, for EB1A, there are 4 things to keep in mind. There are 3 things to keep in mind, yeah? And the 3 things are well explained here. Now, you need to show that either you have a one-time big award, for example, maybe you win a Grammy, an award. Now, that's a one-time award, which means that makes you qualify for EB1A. It's either you have a one-time award or you meet 3 out of 10 criteria. Now, there are lists of 10 criteria set, right? In my subsequent video, I will be explaining that. How do you meet the requirement for EB1A? But you need to meet 3 out of these 10 criteria, just 3 out of the 10 criteria. Now, the second one is that you need to prove to the person reviewing your document that you seek to enter United States to continue to work in your area of extraordinary ability. And there are things you need to use to prove that. I will also talk about in my subsequent video. Now, the last one is that you need to show that your entry into the United States is going to substantially benefit the US in the future. And there are ways to actually tell this story in such a way that you can prove that. Please keep these 3 in mind. There are 3 requirements that you need to meet for you to be able to go for EB1A. Now let's go to EB2-NIW. Now for EB2-NIW, there are 4 things that you need to prove there. Just 4 things. And please keep those 4 things in mind. Number 1 is that you need to find a way to prove your advanced degree and exceptional ability. That is the first thing you need to find a way to prove. It's either you have an advanced degree. If you do have an advanced degree, you can also prove the exceptional ability, which means you need to meet 3 out of 6 criteria. I have a video which I've done on that. It might also pop up on your screen here. You can go back and go and watch that to understand details of the EB2-NIW. Now, the other thing is that you need to meet these 3 requirements. It's called the 3-prong. Now, you need to have a proposed endeavor, the merit and national importance. You need to show that you are positioned to advance the cost of the endeavor. And the last thing to show that it is in the benefit of United States to waive the labor requirement for you. The summary of that is that for EB1A, you need one-time award, or you need to meet 3 out of the 10 criteria set. That is the requirement for EB1A. That is the summary. For EB2-NIW, it is advanced degree or exceptional ability. Then you prove the 3-prong. If you're able to do that, then easy peasy for you. That is the second difference. Now, the third difference is about the evidences. What are the type of evidences that you submit for EB1A? What are the type that you submit for EB2-NIW? Let me give you a simple example of that as an example. I will use 2 things to really explain that. Now, for EB1A, one of the 10 criteria is that you command high salary. Now, which means versus your peers in your industry, in your location, in your country, you need to command high salary. That is one of the requirements. For example, for EB1A, you need to have an evidence like your pay slip, like your offer letter, like your contract letter, like your letter of promotion, like how you get your salary, like your tax record. Now, that can show that you actually earn high salary compared to your peers. There are ways to compare that today to show that you actually earn high salary. In United States, the standard is there. Then if you are submitting or applying from anywhere across the world, there are now ways you need to prove that you earn high salary. Now, for EB2-NIW, the requirement says that you command salary, which means you earn salary. So if you earn salary, regardless of the amount of salary you earn for EB2-NIW, right, it does not really matter as long as you are being paid for that endeavor in which you are trying to apply for. That is like a major difference between EB1A and EB2. That is why EB1A requires higher standard compared to EB2-NIW. Now, let me give another example. Imagine you're an HR manager, right? In this case, you're an HR manager. There are some prestigious organizations today in the world. Let me mention like 3 of them. We have like SHRM, we have HRCI, we have like CIPM. CIPM is Nigerian-based like HR association. Now, these 3 organizations today, they are both national and they are all international organizations. So which means they have members all over the world and they're recognized internationally. If you're applying for EB1, if you are just a member of CIPM as an example, or you're a member of SHRM, for example, maybe you have their certification and you are a registered member of the association as an example, that, for example, is an evidence for you under EB2-NIW, right? Because if you are just a member of such kind of prestigious organization, right, you can use that as one of your evidences in your prong 2 for EB2-NIW. Now, for EB1, they don't need you to just be a chartered member, for example, of the association. They need you to have high-profile membership, which means if I use CIPM, for example, you should not just be an ACIPM, which is just an associate of CIPM. They need you to have like an upgraded membership in that organization that is high-profile. Maybe you're a full member, for example. Maybe you're like MCIPM. Maybe you're just like a fellow. You're a fellow of the institute as an example. So you need to have like an upgraded membership in that organization that shows that you have higher profile membership. Now, that profile needs to be the one that requires higher recognition, right, in your field before you can be at that level, not just because you paid and they upgraded you. That will not meet the requirement. Now, that, for example, is different between EB1A and EB2. Remember, EB1A requires more higher standard. It's about recognition, but EB2 is all about, do you do this today? Do you have a record for this today? And if you have them, document that, you are good to go. Now, the 4th one here is about level of recognition, right? To build on top of the 3rd one, if you are applying for EB1A, you need to have some level of national or international recognition and significant acclaim, which means in your region, your locality, there's something that shows that you are outstanding. You are in the top like 5% of your industry as an example. And this needs to be proven by high recognition in that industry and also high impact in that industry. For example, if you are going for EB1 as an example, citations, right? Number of citations becomes important, not just like I wrote an article in a journal. That is just not enough. Like the citations you have doesn't have to be too big, but there should be a level of relevance of your citation as an example. If you appear in the media as an example, you want to check the quality of the media in which you appear in. Is it just a blog? Or is it a professional media as an example? That is level of recognition that is accepted for EB1A. For EB2-NIW as an example, it's majorly about impact. Yeah, what did you do? Where did you volunteer? Where did you mentor? How did you get your promotion? How did you grow? Which institute do you join? What certification do you have? It's majorly about impact. It's majorly impact focused. It does not mean if you have high recognition, you cannot apply for EB2-NIW. The choice is yours. However, if you don't have a higher profile, deeper requirement, quality requirement, is most likely you will not be able to scale through for the EB1A. Now, what is the final one? The final one here that people miss out when they come to me and I'm trying to take them through the journey of the application. Most people today, maybe you might also be one of them, they assume that when they get approval for the petition, particularly if they pay for premium processing, it means that there will always be a premium processing of their green card. This is not true, right? Now, the last difference between EB1A and EB2-NIW is that for EB2-NIW, right, when you get your approval for your petition, which is the first stage of the application, you need to have a waiting time. There's a waiting time between when you apply, you get your approval, and when you go for your green card. As at today, which is July, that you are watching this video, I don't know when you stumble on this video, like tomorrow. Now, there's like 15 months thereabout waiting period between when you get your approval of your I-140 and when you are going to get your green card today. So you need to put that in your plan today if you have some very tight consideration for your EB2-NIW. So there's a waiting time between approval of your petition and when you will get your green card. If you want to know details about it, I have a video on what we call the visa bulletin. The visa bulletin talks about details on how do you check the current waiting time as at today. Then how do you make a bit of projection into the future on probable time when you will get your green card if you are going for EB2-NIW. However, for EB1A today, except for India and China as at today, when you get your, if you are from any other part of the world that is not India or China, currently as at today, there's no waiting time, which means after you get your approval, then you can easily go straight for your green card. Whether you are in the United States, you can easily go for adjustment of status, or if you're outside United States, you can easily go for the consular processing. So there's no waiting time between EB1A and EB2-NIW. I'm sure that I've been able to give you some level of information, right, of the major differences between EB1 and EB2-NIW. Remember, once again, the 5 major differences are: number 1, EB1A is extraordinary ability, EB2-NIW is advanced degree or exceptional ability plus national interest. The second one is that eligibility requirement for EB1A, there are 3 of them, meet 3 out of the 10 criteria, shows that you seek to enter the United States, continue to work in your area, and the last one, you will benefit United States. For EB2-NIW, you need to prove the advanced degree, the exceptional ability, and you need to prove the 3-prong. Now, the third one is about documentation. Now, the document you need for EB1, for example, is higher. For example, you command high salary. For EB2-NIW, you just command salary, right? So you need to prove that your salary is truly high for EB1A. The fourth one is your level of recognition that you have, which means the kind of recognition you use for EB1A has to be national oriented, not something that is local in your country. It has to be national. The press media, the press mention, citation has to be international, not anything local. For EB2-NIW, it's majorly about impact focus. Maybe some record you have in your company can even help you in your evidences for EB2-NIW. The last one here is timeline. There is no waiting time today except you are in India or China between when you get approval for your EB1A and when you get your green card for EB1A. However, for EB2-NIW, there's a waiting time as of today. For the rest of the world, it's almost like 15 months thereabout. If you want to know details of that, you can make reference to the visa bulletin. Now, the last thing here is that, guys, please subscribe to this channel, right? Hit that bell. There are several content here, and if there's something else that you'd like to know, you'd like to clarify, you can drop that in the comment box, then I will be on your face. If you want to email us at any time, if you want some support from us to review your document, to help you prepare your petition, and to support you to respond to an RFE, email us, usgreencard@peoplearm.io. And if you are willing to join our community, we have more than 1,000 people in our online community today. They ask questions free of charge in the community and they get an answer from me on a one-on-one. For example, this video I'm sharing here now was shared first in my, it's going to be shared first in my community before anybody gets to see this one. And it's just a question from that community. So you can come to that community and ask questions and you are very much good to go. So guys, it's nice being here with you. My name, once again, is Ola Diamonds. I'm the strategist, and we are always here to help you to move you from where you are to where you want to be. We offer several services, and you can just chat us, and we are there to really help you. Until I see you again, remember, I keep on telling you, the year is running out. The election is around the corner. If you are ready for your application today, I want you to go and put in your application if you are ready. Don't rush it. It is quality over the time that you want to rush it. If you need help, please talk to us and we will be there for you. Until I see you again, I would like to remind you, live life without borders, right? Have a lovely day. Bye. Peace out.